Well, all right, family, glad you can make it back. You had your 1 minute breather. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Half the time, I don't even take a minute breather between it, even though I should. I don't, because I just think, adds to the challenge or whatever and stuff. And I'm always looking to kind of be out of breath or seize an opportunity to be out of breath and to keep going. Okay, so we're going to continue to work our combinations, work our drills and stuff. We've been using the jab. We're incorporating hooks into that, and we're also mixing and matching and playing with all kinds of advancing and stepping into those punches and stuff, whether that be to the side or forward or a combination of both, right? So here we go, right? So and what I want you to do is I want you to jab low. Okay, here, wait, before we do that, I'm just showing you, don't take your sweet time throwing a punch back. Catch yourself, watch, look, feel for it. It might be your jab, it might be your lead, it might be the second time you throw a jab or something. But look at the one, usually sometimes it's a danger happens when you finish your combo. The last punch in your combo, it's sort of like that Bruce Lee moment, and you want to just hold it there, because you finished obliterating your opponent and stuff like that. And that's cool too, because there is valuable times where you should practice your chi. But other times, okay, I want you to catch yourself and don't take your sweet time bringing it back, snap it back. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is just a quick reminder of how your body mechanics are working, how you're driving through that punch and stuff. So very similar to how like a baseball pitcher pitches, and but not just the baseball pitcher, anyone who's throwing a ball, anyone who's doing any kind of throwing action. Also very similar to cricket pitching as well, right? You see that whole momentum of that body and stuff like that. Well, instead of pitching a ball with an open hand, just imagine you're throwing a punch. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing before, right? So we were doing a jab. So what I want you to do is it one low? Okay, it's just one out, one low, one high, and then a 1-2. Jab low, jab high, and then jab cross. 1-2. Mix and match with the timing, the phrasing of it. Do it all four. Or mix and match. Here, keep in mind and seize the opportunity defense as well. Don't be so strict about it where where your elbows are digging into your body and stuff like that. But keep in mind that where those elbows are is your natural guarded defense. Also, keep in mind your fist position. Watch yourself. Are you completing your punches? There are no right and wrong. Just watch what you're doing. Notice your own habits and trends. And whatever your habits and trends are, that's fine and stuff like that. But make sure you do a bunch of other stuff as well, so that you don't only do one kind of thing. So if you're half rotating or 3/4 of the way rotating your fist, make sure you have other times when you're fully rotating that fist, and other times when you don't. You can do more of a Wing Chun type of punch. Up to you. Do them all. But yeah, so look at, you see here I'm exaggerating it. See, I'm not really stiff like you think. The point is I want to show you how the elbows are not flaring and stuff. Why? Because they're your natural guarded defense positions and stuff. So they're guarding your ribs. So I want to keep contained, keep composed, and not go crazy. All right, our first kick, no surprise, it's a front kick. Of course it's a front kick, because we can learn a lot from the front kicks. It's such a valuable kick to have in your arsenal, especially if you're not doing this on a full-time level, or, you're just not going to learn 20 kicks. Whatever the amount of kicks you are going to learn, I would definitely suggest the front kick is your first one, for sure. I mean, it doesn't mean it's the best one, but definitely. So, yeah, so we're throwing that front kick, and we're throwing the rear front kick one, and what does that mean? It means that it's naturally going to pair up with some of our movement and stuff, right? So whatever is the last punch we throw before the kick, that front kick is riding on that punch, isn't it? Right? Now, I mean, that's not always the case or whatever, but it's great because I want you to feel that body mechanic and stuff like that, and it also helps mask the stuff. So after I finish throwing that cross you saw right there, okay, I'm riding. You see here I'm playing and just having fun, but it's true, okay? See how that, imagine you're facing me right there, and you see that fist is distracting you. It's in your face. It's coming to your face, but right behind it is that front kick. Now, instead of playing games like that, whatever, I could keep that hand out as a type of defense, a bar, a guard, and then follow the kick through and stuff like that. And other times you could just totally, like, you know, you could throw your punch and then you could wait a couple of seconds. You don't always have to ride the punch with the kick. But here we're practicing and we're training and stuff like that. So it's a great exercise to do that. And so, yeah, and one of the points is, you know, it's basic and stuff, but the great thing about basics are they are fundamentals, they are foundations in which to build from, right? That sounds fantastic, but it's true. So what are we doing here, right? What I'm showing you is don't take your sweet time. I'm looking at my watch. Ha ha ha. Don't take your sweet time dropping the kick. It's another thing that we do. Okay, I do it when I'm just hanging out and having fun, but I make no mistake. I always have in the back of my mind that this is a bad habit and stuff, which is after I finish throwing the kick, you know, I take this whole really beautiful, composed process of bringing the foot down and just getting ready for the next one and stuff, because I'm working on this, I'm working on that, because I have 1,000 excuses, blah 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 blah. The point is, you can do that because you're working on some other stuff, and it's nice to feel the balance, it's nice to feel how you should land or whatever, so long as you have sessions and intervals where you're practicing landing that kick as well. The kick is not finished yet. The technique is not done till you land that kick, okay? For the most part and stuff like that. So I want you to bring that right down, whether it's a snapping one or a thrusting one, it all goes the same. You don't have to compact your kick in order to bring it down fast. You could take forever to throw the kick. The point is, when you're done with the kick, bring it down. Don't take forever. Have practices where you bring it down. See? Don't bring it back. I like to bring it back as well. Okay, but part of that habit may be because when in my earlier years, we comboed on kicks, so you don't even bring them down before you throw a kick. But I don't do a lot of them, and if you don't practice that a lot, and we'll get to it, you'll tear your groin apart, guaranteed, because the second kick that you don't bring down, the second kick usually involves a worse pivot or a compromised pivot. We'll get to that, right? So, second one that we're going to throw in here is the roundhouse kick. Why do I like using the roundhouse kick for our basic practice? Because it involves a lot of body mechanics. It involves a lot of rotation and stuff. You can lean over or you can lean back. Okay, you can have a compact one or you can have a thrust one. Okay, and this one I want to focus on a bit of that body thrust. So the best way to think of it is like in a pelvis thrusting motion forward. So if you look at my front side and stuff, when the kick comes, you want to it's not just an extension of the foot on the leg as well. It's also that buttocks, that pelvis area. Also have that thrusting forward, have that thrusting toward you. See the view, as the viewer right now, the pelvis is thrust toward you as the kick completely finishes out and stuff. And you get some really interesting power out of that. Then there's other times when you don't. See, there's other compact ones and stuff like that. There's differences. You can get power out of that as well, but just trust me, do both of them and you'll feel it, okay? It's not a secret or anything like that, and you'll feel differences. You'll feel things that you can do, and stuff. and then play around with it and see what you like and see what you can build off of that. Having a good time, aren't we? Excuse me if I'm talking a bit fast, but this is not scripted and nor practiced, and my goal is not to do this a dozen times. I rarely do multiple takes and stuff, so what we chat and what we talk about right now is what's happening right now, right? Okay, so jab low, jab high, then the 1-2, okay, then our roundhouse kick. So we're incorporating it. You see how we're using the drills that we did earlier, and now we're front kick and the roundhouse kick. And this is a classic one, okay, with a slight modification in the amount of punches that we're doing or whatever. So we're doing 4 punches, okay, then the front kick, and then the roundhouse kick. It's a classic one. The front kick is creating distance for you, landing on your opponent, or your opponent is jumping away. That's okay, because when you land, you follow up with an even longer distance one, which is the roundhouse kick. Okay? A lot of times, the roundhouse kick is at its best when an opponent is trying to walk out of. A lot of punches and strikes are at their best when your opponent is trying to walk away and get away. Okay, so they're not in any, and they start to, they don't have the greatest defense maybe, because their whole emphasis is trying to get away, and they might not see it. Oftentimes involves a blind shot, and then upon getting away, one of those kicks, like a roundhouse kick or a hook or something, lands and connects. Right. So we talked about this before. Keep in mind, okay, the extension. I don't want you to already have your leg fully or halfway extended before you throw your kick. You can, that's a certain thing, but you won't. They generally don't have as much power, so be careful with them and stuff, because you think you're going to execute that and then have a devastating effect, and oftentimes you will not, okay? You won't. And that's that. So one of the things in the simple sense is you want to have a really tight chamber so that there's a decent amount of distance traveled when the kick is unfolding and when the kick is happening and stuff. That's going to give you your power. That's also going to give you some good techniques. If your kick is already halfway extended and low as you're throwing it, an opponent only needs to take like a short step in and they already jammed you, or your kick winds up like smashing off their knee, not in an intentional way. And in a very friendly sparring sense, those are the types of ways you kick your opponent in the groin by accident. They're throwing a kick just as you're throwing a kick, but your kick is okay because you're trying to do it fast and get it off, and you wind up kicking them right in the groin. Boom. Happens all the time. Okay, so just going to cover a little bit of the basics, right? So let's backpedal a moment a little bit and to throw that front kick, okay? And then you're doing the roundhouse kick. Right, so the front kick is a lead one, but it's coming back, and then you're throwing the roundhouse rear as well, and stuff. So that's a really cool one. One of the great practices about this is it's that balance. I want you to have an active balance too. I mean, if I spread my legs in some massive stance after a kick, I'm going to have great balance. So I manage to compensate for some crazy kick, whatever. But I won't be able to do much out of that massive stance. I'll have to come out of that massive stance. So drive the front kick, okay, bring it back, and then after you bring it back, drive out your roundhouse kick as well. One of the extra tricks and cool things out of that is almost like a springboard. When you landing the foot back after the front kick, okay, use that as a springboard. Land back, push off the ground, okay, and thrust out snap out your roundhouse kick. Landing down, so the front kick and then in the roundhouse kick we're landing forward, and that's a great way for our drill as well, because obviously we're now in a switched position and we can just do the next set for the next side. All right, we're having a good time, aren't we? We're covering a whole bunch of bases, and don't worry, we got a whole bunch more and stuff. So generally, mostly because I'm dictated by the interval of the camera setting, I do 20-minute rounds. So here we are in round 2, and we're more than halfway through. You're getting some jabs in, some crosses, hooks, and our kicks, right? And we're going to bring it together again. So let's see what we're doing. What do we got? We're figuring it out. See, figuring it out. Okay? So what we're doing is we're doing a jab low, a jab high, then we're doing a 1-2, so, and then a jab cross high, right? Then we're doing a front kick. We're doing then a roundhouse kick. And then we're going to, after we finish the kicks, we're going to do a second set of punching drills after. Right? Which is just a 1-2, hook low, hook high. You got that? After the 1-2, I'm just showing you in a slower motion. See some good turn on those hooks. Doesn't have to be involving your entire body, but also at least your arm, and make it a hook, man. Your fist, turn on it. Rotate them. All right, plenty of time. We're not gonna easily get off this easy and stuff like that. Okay, here I'm showing you just keep it loose so that you can practice the motion, practice the moves, the combos that we're developing. Once we feel comfortable with that, then we can start working on them with closed fists or just increasing our power and stuff. Okay, it's nothing crazy. Okay, so let me see if we got this correct and stuff like that. And it's stuff that you will do as you're working on it as well and stuff. And you feel it out and you make it up and stuff. But see, we're trying to also do something realistic, but we're also trying to have a succession here, a development from earlier stuff that we worked out in isolation of maybe just the punch combo. Now we're trying to bring it all together, right? So we're doing a jab low, we're doing a jab high, then we're doing a jab and a cross high. Then we're going to do a front kick and then a roundhouse kick. When we land the roundhouse kick, we're going to do a 1-2 high, which is the jab and the cross high, and then we're going to do a double hook, one low, one high. Not too complicated, right? Don't worry, okay? Just stay loose, do it nice and easy or whatever, and just have a look and we'll be able to do it. It's not that complicated. It shouldn't be that crazy. Don't worry, especially because we've already did this. We've already did pieces of these combos. We're just trying to bring it all together and stuff. Jab low, jab high, 1-2. Front kick, roundhouse kick, 1-2. Hook low, hook high. So, okay, 4 punches, front kick, roundhouse kick, then 4 punches after, right? Starting at that. 4 punches, front kick, roundhouse kick, 4 punches after. Jab low, jab high, 1-2, front kick, roundhouse kick, 1-2, and then hook and low and high. Once you get the hang of that, man, mix and match it and stuff like that. Your 1-2s can be divided. They're 1-2, but you can go low and high. All right, well, see you in a moment. Have a breather.